Carter Show is a paid programming, and KHMC Magic 95 assumes no responsibility for its content, and the Wade and Carter Show bears all responsibilities for their opinions and guests on their show.
Now, before we do this, let's go over the ground rules. Rule number 1, no touching of the hair or face. Of course. And that's it! Now let's do this!
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you?
Trying not to speak moistly.
Please don't do that.
How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm well.
You look good. You look
Thank you.
good and healthy, and you're hardly jaundiced at all.
I'm hardly.
Just a nice... Folks, don't adjust your sets. This is just a mild yellowness of ash due to the muggy, overcast nature of the world that we live in.
I'm getting there. Let's do this.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
The Weather Rock yields the following for today. It is 75 degrees in Victoria, heading to a high of 93 in the Easy Bake Convection Oven known as Victoria. Slight chance, decent chance of rain this afternoon. I won't bore you with percentages, 40. But 75 to 93. It's going to get hot this afternoon by our standards, but going to be very humid, cloudy all day.
Joe Mitchell and Lisa Poole, Mike Bloschke.
Joe Mitchell, I want to give you an attaboy. I visited with a friend yesterday, told me that his sanity through this mess has been going and walking the country club golf course. He did not say he was playing well. He said that being able to get out and walk the course and be by himself and have something productive to do alone was making him happy. I said, that's Joe Mitchell. Thank him.
Patrick Strauss checking in. Trey Molina, good morning. We're huge in Corpus Christi.
Funky Trey Molina. Trey, you need to be on the air. I've got the skinny on you, bro. You need to call us once in a while.
Monica Joe's checking in. Judge Posey, Dawn Nicole, Matt Boucher, H.R. Mallory, the Iceman is in. Marvin Mickish, A.J. Louderback, good morning, Sheriff. Chris Conrad checking in. We're huge in Sugarland.
Marvin Hamlish?
Yes. No, I said Marvin Mickish.
So Hamlish, was he like a Rodgers and Hammerstein guy, or was he a musician, like a composer? Or were Rodgers and Hammerstein composers?
Both. He's a musician and a composer. He's dual threat.
So Marvin Hamlish is the guy that wrote, no, Scott Joplin wrote, da-na-da-na-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, I think so.
The
Entertainer?
Yeah, that was Scott Joplin, right?
Yeah, Hamlish was later, I think, right?
So what did Hamlish write? Wasn't he involved in... Help us out, folks. So no, there was something like The Sting or something like that Marvin Hamlish was a writer for. Why don't you Google that?
I'm trying. My Google's...
It's a Google for Content Thursday, because we got nothing, folks. There ain't no baseball going on our asses. We have lots. There's some scribbling over there. It looks like John McNeil's prescription over here on this pad. If Ash dropped dead right now, yes, I would finish the show. What
American composer. He's won Emmys, Grammys, Oscars, and
He's
Tonys.
a big deal. He ain't won no Heisman, but he's a big deal.
A Chorus Line, Goodbye Girl,
Never heard
Sting.
There you go.
Sophie's Choice, The Spy Who Loved Me.
It was all downhill after The Sting, right? Isn't that so? Did he write the music, The Sting, like da 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 da?
That was The Entertainer, wasn't it? Probably.
I thought that was Scott Joplin.
I don't know.
I just don't know. H.R. Mallory, he's a musical guy. He might know. You spend a lot of time in a state trooper cruiser. You know things. You always wonder, I always picture those guys when they're going down the road and they got that hat on. It's a little bit tight. It's making a red spot on their forehead. Those guys are going, and I always picture them listening to
looks like he did The Entertainer.
Yeah.
He might have.
See if you can give me a little bit of that. We might as well get our music kicked off the air again. I'm always picturing that guy listening to Frank Sinatra.
No, I've got a better song to play.
Oh, I want you to play your song. You got to give them a little update on where it came from in the history.
Yeah, well,
we talked about it yesterday.
We talked about it yesterday a little bit with Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, and his, he's telling you got to cover your mouth so you don't speak moistly. Well, some
Rise, entrepreneurial commit.
Anonymotif is the YouTube channel. Take a listen.
Anonymotif?
Yeah, take a listen to this. This is just genius.
On to our elbows, these are the things we know.
I was literally just in tears laughing. Listen to this.
People want to work
Is that Rico Kasich?
that is okay. These are the things we know that prevents you from speaking moistly. Speaking moistly. Keep 2 meters apart. Speaking moistly.
It's got a kick to it.
Moistly. Keep 2 meters apart. Speaking moistly. I'm not a medical expert. These are the things,
No kidding.
things we know. Keep 2 meters apart. What I have heard from medical experts. These are the things we know that prevents you from speaking moistly. Speaking moistly.
Good stuff, man.
Keep 2 meters apart. Speaking moistly. Speaking moistly. Keep 2 meters apart. Speaking moistly. Speaking moistly. Keep 2 meters apart. Speaking moistly.
I'm going to tell you.
Speaking moistly.
I'll guarantee you 2 things.
Oh, man, that's just funny stuff.
By this point, Prime Minister Trudeau has heard that from some staffer. And that staffer did everything he or she could not to laugh in front of the Prime Minister when he played that for her.
I think they all had to.
Yeah.
They all probably did their best not to laugh when he uttered the words "speaking moistly."
Who does that? You don't
Prime Minister of Canada.
Unbelievable. How did he not laugh? How could you say the word moist without
Without a chuckle,
without a little chuckle?
I have no idea. See,
So
the
you're
beam is in.
still working hard for that top fan.
Yep.
How did you get your top fan badge? In fact, we need HR Mallory to give us a call. 575-9509.
I don't see the badge there. But
He's our favorite
Yeah.
trooper. Trooper extraordinaire. There's Paul Ebner, Chris Jansen, Lisa Poole. Funky Trey not taking the bait this morning. I guess he doesn't have his radio voice on this morning. He's a sharp guy. I've got the skinny on Trey.
Iceman has a serious question. How do y'all feel if a business doesn't honor their advertised pricing?
Tell us who it is, we'll rat him out.
No matter if it's a few cents or if it's the principle of it. Well, it depends. Did you read the fine print?
You know what?
Sale over.
And not to give you a shameless plug, but I'm going to do it right here, Iceman. Not you, but the one of our sponsors. You know what always irks me is when you see that deal and you know that it's too good to be true. It's here's an example, and it's usually on a car or insurance. That's my business. Oh, call today, save hundreds of dollars. And well, then when you start comparing apples to apples,
15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes saves you a lot of money because you lost a bunch of coverage. Let's see who this is. HR? Trey?
This is the HR department.
There you are, HR. How are you?
Doing good, sir. How about yourselves?
I'm good. I wanted to ask you what you're seeing. You're out there, you get a cross-sampling of the public in action, the public at large. What are you seeing on the roads in terms of the percentage of people, the ups and downs of are people driving faster, slower, they seem more cautious, are they preoccupied? And what are you getting with your interaction with people on the roads compared to what we would call normal, back in the day?
I've actually been doing some other work, securing some essential sites the past couple of weeks. So I haven't been on the road too much.
Okay.
But it does seem to be slowing. It does seem to have slowed down a little bit. I know people are constantly commenting on social media. They see lots of traffic out, but it does seem like that for the most part, people are, going about what they need to be going about doing and staying home.
Well, good. That's good. I mean, I'm glad to hear that from you. You're guarding essential sites. Are you the keeper of all the N95 masks?
No.
Are they in a secret site?
Like everybody else, just trying to try to go to work, take care of the family,
Well, I think you're doing a great job. We always appreciate you, and thanks for answering the call.
Yes, sir.
Have a great day,
HR. Have a good one,
Be
man.
safe out there.
You too.
That's our online state trooper. That's our connection to all things law enforcement, HR Mallory. Now, if we need to know what's going on at the sheriff level, we go straight to our consultant and mentor, AJ Louderback. If we need to know what's going on at the county courts, we go straight to Judge Zeller. I've tried to go straight to Raleigh McCoy. I've invited Raleigh on the air.
He's been busy.
He's been very busy, and I don't get me wrong. I'm not insinuating that Raleigh's ducking us because he's got no reason to. And we're friends. I like Raleigh. I just think that he's got the face for radio. There's no reason for Raleigh to hold out for KAVU. Yeah, he should be on the air with us.
I agree.
We'll get him on. We'll get him on soon. Jesus Garza ought to be reaching out to us to be on the air, but he hasn't done that.
Kyle Nethery checking in, Ryan Lott, Marty Stockbauer, Rob Pupi, Chris Jansen.
I think if I was Jesus Garza, I would have my own PR machine in force because you can't stay under the radar at that kind of money. At some point, people are going to start asking questions.
Sound is off on your mic, trying to fix that.
Mine?
I think I got it.
It's just me.
Yeah, maybe it's just you. Tom Price checking in. CW Bean says the mics are too hot. I think I got it figured out.
What CW wants to be a top fan, now he wants to be like the control board
now
guy?
He's our producer, yep. We got it. We're
Maybe-
good. I appreciate that because I hadn't seen anything.
Maybe
until-
I should just
until somebody
slow
said
it
something
down.
and I looked. Lisa Pools, good morning to you.
Hey.
Pat, John Houghton.
How about here at Magic 95.9? Playing all your COVID favorites.
Callie Frommie checking in. Arena Sure.
Sure. See, I say sheer.
Sure.
Well, you do what you
There's
want.
2 R's in there.
Sorry. She's ootin' a boot. Sorry. What did Chris Conrad say?
It says as soon as Trudeau said speaking moistly, he thought of Moist Definitely from Letterkenny.
Moist, definitely.
All right, let's see. Matt Boucher, Michael Guajardo. Did we get the...
Trey says that he and John Paul Hull will do a guest appearance. Now, what that'll be is I know JP. They will have all types of inside jokes and little innuendos and things that we don't get. And basically, when it's over, you'll look down. We'll both be standing in a pool of blood and wonder where it came from. JP's got that rapier whip where he just sticks you, and then the next thing you know, you're like dead. You never felt a thing. Marty Stockbauer says you just fixed it. So thank you, C-Dub, for the reach out, and thank you, Marty, for the affirmation.
There's a lot of dials and knobs on this board besides the 2 standing in front of it, and sometimes there's some things that get a little out of whack. So.
Now look what we get here. Fix your mic. It's hot from TLAT. J.R. Hartman, good morning. Do y'all have the bass up on your... Thank you for listening. I hope we get
I don't have any of those.
We could just, they go straight to the guy they know controls the
can't
show.
fix anything?
Yeah, they go straight to the guy that can't fix anything. Take some of the bass out of that, Freddie. Hey, real quick,
There
let's
we go.
get
Much better. Thank you.
Let's
Appreciate
do
all
this
that.
one. What did we change? What did you change? I'm used to that knob being over there a little
Yeah.
bit. Folks,
No,
there's
I
a whole
had
bunch
these,
of
I
knobs
had these
here.
up too high.
Did you?
I had our pots up too high, so I brought
Pots
them down
or
and we're
pods?
good. Pots.
Pots.
P-O-T.
What does that stand
Potentiometer.
for? Went to school for that,
I
didn't you?
did.
I called that the knob.
Yeah, I call that the guy standing next to me.
You're a knob. It's a good time to tell you that we're going to take a break tomorrow. Tomorrow is Good Friday. I tell people all the time, and I do my best here not to. It's not a
Maybe I need to fire up the Speaking Moistly once again.
evangelical radio show, but I will tell you something.
Because it was kind of muffled for people.
Christmas doesn't matter a lick if you don't have Easter. So this weekend, worship at the Worship at the website of your choice. We highly recommend acknowledging Easter. Why are you firing up Trudeau?
Well, because people were complaining. I don't think they were able to get it.
They don't get it.
Our elbows, these are the things
The things that we know.
we know.
Don't think that's not a hit in Canada.
People want to wear a mask.
Well, and it's got all the Canadian content rules covered too.
That is okay.
I'll just get to the chorus, then we can get on with our break.
You from speaking moistly. Speaking moistly.
I guarantee you Dawn's dancing at home.
Speaking moistly. Speaking moistly.
My mom's up in her room just
2
slinging it.
meters apart. Speaking moistly.
All right, there we go.
Folks, I'm sorry. It won't even... Allen's Wrecker Service can't pull this out of the ditch. 578-6300.
Not this morning.
Reach out to Allen's for all your towing needs. JR said we fixed it.
Yeah.
Thanks, JR. I miss JR Hartman. Haven't seen him in a while.
I texted him the other day, so.
Yeah, he told me he just chose not to read it. He just immediately swiped it. If you swipe to the left, you can just hit delete. That maybe he wasn't talking about you.
No, he responded.
578-6300. That's the number you need for Allen's Wrecker Service. If your car won't go, if you need to get it somewhere, if your car breaks down and you want a new radio put in it, take it to the VCS companies. Drag it over to VCS right there on Kerr Boulevard. Whether you need, literally, car
Surround
audio,
sound?
if you need to get something done, if you need a radio to communicate at work, surround sound. We made the comment yesterday, right now is a great time to make sure your family is safe and secure with a security system from the VCS companies. They're trusted by builders. Our home was pre-wired for a VCS company security system, which we have. It's phenomenal. It's easy to use, no false alarms, monitored. You need it. To me, it's just, there you go. If you don't have it, it costs me $50 a month. I can lock folks in and know that they are secure. And trust me, when the thing goes off, you know that it went off. So do your neighbors. It's a good thing to have.
So does the guy trying to break in.
Yeah, and that's the whole key. Be a deterrent. That little sign I have in the front yard is probably, you'll never know how many people said, nah, let's just move on to an easier house. There you go.
Kind of like COVID. We'll never know how many actually had it.
Right. But that guy that jumped out of the airplane without a parachute apparently died of COVID.
Yep. So
The AT&T retailer is still doing curbside service.
they've got great deals on Samsung stuff right now. Like if you can add a line for like nothing, for almost nothing if you have a Samsung device. So
Absolutely.
get over there. Lots
Get
of
over
great
there
deals.
and let them do it. What else you got?
Monday's checking in. CW Green brings something up because the great headline in the Babylon Bee yesterday was Bernie Sanders tests negative for president.
Did anybody that listens to this show has been advised forever. We've been telling you since the beginning, when he was leading by double digits, when Joe Biden was floundering around in dementia, we told you that Bernie Sanders had absolutely zero chance of getting the presidential nomination. No chance. And I had people tell me, y'all are crazy. Bernie's the future. This is what's going on.
He won 2 irrelevant states.
Yep.
I mean, the only reason Iowa is a relevant state is it's the first caucus of the election season, right?
Potatoes.
That's it. Corn.
That's it. Coeur d'Alene.
That's Idaho.
Oh. See? I mean, nobody cares. Seriously. Iowa. Des Moines, biggest city.
You know how many Texans actually confuse Iowa and Idaho?
Most of us. You know why? Because they
Lots.
just don't matter. They don't matter. I'm sorry. It's like, it doesn't matter. More people in Houston than the state of Iowa. I'll bet you.
Well, a little geography would be a good thing because the other day people were panicking that a bunch of things in Victoria, Texas were closed, and it was actually a post from Victoria, Australia.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So just learning a little bit of geography.
I heard
I
this
think the
morning.
sheriff's office had to put something up that said, no, look at the bottom. The weather had a list of like Australian cities.
Like I said, Melbourne,
Yeah. Canterbury or Canberra and all this. And yeah.
the Outback. hot. It says Outback hot.
And what should have been a giveaway was it said 18 degrees.
Celsius.
It's 90 degrees outside, and you're thinking we're closing stuff, and our temperature is only 18 degrees here.
That leads you to understand why the county says stay home, stay safe. When in doubt, just go all the way overboard because otherwise people are too stupid to get it.
Yeah.
Did you see where in Australia authorities boarded the cruise ship or a cruise ship that was the source of a number of cases? A number of positive cases were taken off of this cruise ship, and authorities boarded it in complete like hazmat gear,
Really?
looking for evidence as to why the virus spread so rapidly and so with such veracity on this cruise ship.
And it hadn't done so on other cruise ships.
Right. They blamed it on the spinach, I think. Chipotle. There was a Chipotle on there, and they blamed it on them.
I thought that was the E. coli, not the E. COVID. I see though Riverside Park will be shut down this weekend, as will all other city parks, to avoid mass gatherings. Because tomorrow's Good Friday, it's Easter weekend, so they're trying to be proactive. But wouldn't that be the place you would want people to be? Outside?
Yeah,
Where if you're going to be speaking moistly, it'll at least disperse.
you should go outside today and get some cloud. I mean, you want to go outside and get a little sun. There just isn't any.
And I think there's severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for this afternoon and into this evening as well. Cold front's going to blow through, but have we gone too far if we start closing parks?
I don't know.
Wouldn't it be more effective just to go through and say, hey, look, please, break up the large gatherings if they're in violation.
You need Ranger Rick driving through. Hey, break it up, get over there. Break it up. Are you guys related? Break it up. Looks like a junior high dance. Let's get some gap between you people.
But I guess it brings me to my Mr. Apocalypse.
Oh, here we
Rant.
go, folks. We're going to have a visit from, we need some music from Mr. Don't we have dun 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 somewhere? We need some music to welcome in Mr. Apocalypse. I don't know if it's the Canadian, if it's being raised under a governmental regime that told him what to think. That's part of it. Mr. Apocalypse. If there's something negative, if there's a negative spin to be had, a Debbie Downer way to approach a subject, here's Mr. Apocalypse.
No, it's no downer.
Folks, it's unbelievable.
Matter of fact.
Go ahead, share the apocalypse with. It's unbelievable.
Somebody asked if standing 2 meters apart was 6 feet. Yes, roughly.
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 Where were you in junior high?
I like what somebody took chalk on a sidewalk in Canada and drew a picture of a hockey stick and said, basically, this is how far you need to be from the person next to you is a hockey stick away.
I like it.
Canadians can relate to that.
Yeah.
See, you couldn't do that down here with a bat because it's not long enough.
Right.
Or a golf club. But hockey sticks are pretty close.
I like it.
Yeah. So
Once again, the practicality of Canadians just roars to the forefront.
exactly. Clayton Helt checking in. Good morning to my beautiful wife, Cheryl.
Don't change the subject,
I'm
Mr.
not.
Apocalypse.
I'm not. It
Hello, Clayton.
because all the deaths, whether there's a comorbidity and interesting fact, people are like, we're the next Italy, and then I heard, I think Dr. Burks was talking yesterday,
We're the next
right?
Italy.
With the COVID thing.
Yeah.
That was always what we were hearing.
We're
right?
the United States. We're rocking that COVID. Not only do we have more cases than anybody, we count them better than anybody. We know who died over here of COVID.
Everybody.
Was Kung Flu fighting. All right, so go ahead.
Well, because we got to be atop the medal count at the podium at the
That's
end of the
exactly
year.
right.
Kind of
right?
the mentality does creep in a little bit, I think, sometimes.
Unbelievable.
But no, Dr. Burks was explaining that the people in Italy have at least half of the COVID deaths over there. They've had at least 3 other health issues to go along with
Right.
COVID-19.
The guy's got COPD, he's diabetic, and he's got pancreatic cancer, but he died of COVID.
And they're lumping everything in. And Dr. Birx had a good explanation yesterday. The reason they're doing that, in most cases, those other underlying health issues aren't killing them.
Right. He's lived with COPD for 2 decades,
Yeah.
but he died of COVID.
Yeah, the COVID is pushing him over.
So here's my
top.
question. Does Dr. Birx, is that a uniform that she wears, or do you think that she has more than one scarf, or does she whip that thing? When I say Dr. Birx, don't you picture blue dress and that multicolored scarf? Now, at some point, somebody's going to say that's white supremacist.
I think that scarf has coffee filters in it, and she's using it as her N95.
At some point, they're gonna label her as that's some kind of a subliminal signal for white supremacy.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
You know how
Betty Jo Kaiser checking in. Betty Jo and I went to Mount Royal College together. Good morning to you, Betty Jo.
Hello, Betty Jo.
There's Justin Anderley. Good morning to you.
There's Justin Swatowski, top fan, CW Bean. Did you notice how that? So after World War I, Germany was deflated, defeated, beaten down. The Depression came along, and along came a little guy named Adolf Hitler who wasn't blonde, wasn't blue-eyed, but convinced those Aryans that rallying behind a huge nationalistic attitude was what they needed to do and blame everything that was wrong on everybody else. Kind of a cross between a psychopath and a Democrat. And you had the Nazis, the National Socialist group there that became the Nazis. In a lot of ways, the United States is poised for such a thing. The economy's in the toilet. People are unemployed.
When you're telling these little stories, here's a good idea. Have a point. It makes it so much more interesting for the listener.
See, your ability to sabotage my bits,
I can sabotage my own.
Mr. Apocalypse. Here's the deal. What I'm saying is, if it wasn't for the American people, because everybody there right now is going, is he going to make a point that we might become like a dictator-driven country? No, that's the whole point. Now, I can't speak for other parts of the country, but I guarantee you here in the great state of Texas, people can't wait to get their lives back to normal. I think that the people of the great state of Texas have a healthy disdain and distrust of the government, certainly at the federal level. You may convince yourself that the nice lawyer in the wheelchair in Austin wouldn't take advantage of you. That's fine. You can convince yourself of that. But nobody here trusts Washington, D.C. We may trust Michael Cloud individually, but we don't trust Congress collectively.
No.
We don't. I think that's what will keep us free. Because there are powers at work in this country from within our government. Certainly not, I don't believe President Trump or his folks, but there are people who clamor to seize power in such a way as to manipulate you forever. I do see that with the young idiot minions like AOC and the calculated evil people like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. I see that.
Oh, you don't think AOC's calculated?
She is, but she's really too stupid. She really is stupid. I mean, the media gives her a pass because of her physical deformities. She's bug-eyed, man, but that's the deal with her. Carter's just a hater, But you notice how we make the phones available all the time. I had somebody say, oh, you guys are hard on people. Don't give them a chance to defend themselves. AOC, please call in. Or if you're a Democrat, if you're excited now that Joe Biden has received the presidential nomination by default, if that excites you, you're going to vote for Joe over Donald Trump, please call us. Tell me why. Tell me what Donald Trump has done that's so egregious that would allow you to vote for a man who's basically on life support.
Well, according to the Huffington Post, he's now making money because he's been pushing hydroxychloroquine, and he owns apparently his trust has some mutual funds that own a piece of Sanofi, the
Unbelievable.
maker of one version of hydroxychloroquine.
It's just unbelievable.
Plaquenil, I think, is their trade name of it.
Trumpaquin.
Yeah.
It's
And
Trumpaquin.
what was interesting when I saw that is people have no clue how mutual funds work,
Right.
right? If the stock of Sanofi is going up because all of a sudden there's a run on hydroxychloroquine, that mutual fund, depending on how it's diversified and what else it's invested in, there is no way that the percentage owned of Sanofi is running that mutual
No.
fund price through the roof.
And Donald Trump's not making his money off mutual funds anyway.
No. I mean, very little money anyway. But regardless, there's other stocks in there that are dogging because the stock market's fallen so far that his trust is probably, if they're lucky, breaking even at this point. But it's and I made a point and it kind of shut the critics up a little bit. But remember the senator from Carolina, I think, that was on the Intelligence Committee. They got some inside information, dumped all the stock before the stock market started tanking, right?
Right. Like nobody was going to find that out.
Yeah. Well, guess who else was involved in that same little bit of insider information? Actually ended up making more money than the other three that were involved, but you
Nancy
never heard
Pelosi.
anything. No, close.
Chuck Schumer.
No, close. The other idiot, Dianne Feinstein.
Really?
Yes. Didn't hear anything about her from the media on that.
No, now had Trump done that, boy, they'd be calling for impeachment.
Yeah. Well, they are. The Huffington Post.
And I
Around that
believe
story.
I believe that the American people have just seen through all that. How silly, given where we are today, how silly does 3 years of impeachment witch hunt seem to you? The waste of money, the waste of time.
Keith Williams checking in. Good morning to you, Keith. There's my daughter Tyler. There's Jay Dub.
Switalski thought that was funny when you said the other idiot. I was going to get out my Democratic roll
Yeah,
call
well,
and just go down that list.
We could have been here all day. Clayton Meyer, good morning.
Tell you what, if
Bob
you're going
Constantine.
if you're going to be somewhere all day due to the COVID quarantine, you might as well be in a brand new recliner from Chesnick Furniture Company. 100 years in downtown Victoria. Bobby Leon and his family, third generation now, have been serving Victorians because you just do better at Chesnick. 116 West Juan Lynn, the corner of Juan Lynn and Bridge. If you'll get by there, we say Chesnick and love make your house a home.
Veracruz, 576-6015. Get your orders in for Easter weekend.
Wow. I hadn't thought about that.
You want
I'd
whatever.
want
What do you
queso,
want?
and the
Queso?
guacamole will keep it till Sunday as well. They give
yeah.
you a beautiful airtight container. You can get rice and beans, heat it all up, put that hot sauce on it. Amazing. Hot sauce is better the second day
Get
anyway.
fajitas because you can eat meat again.
There you go. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Veracruz for the weekend.
576-6015 is the number to Veracruz. Place your orders today. Get them in there.
If you're
Enjoy food
planning
all weekend.
planning to go on with your life, unless you're like Mr. Apocalypse and you're like trying to get all your stuff sold, reach out to
Like
Clayton.
Dianne Feinstein?
Reach out to Clayton and Casey Helt at SCT Building Systems. I say both of them because they're a team. He's the brawn and she's the design side. Now he does have the brains as well, but she's the design side. She'll help you push and pull on some space to show you, well, we can do this, this, and this and keep it within your budget because of the way these buildings are pre-engineered. They do everything from red iron and purlin steel buildings to custom-built concrete form buildings to traditional bricks and sticks. They can build the shell. You can have somebody else finish out the inside. They work with builders for that, or they can do it themselves. What you find in that world is everybody's a subcontractor to somebody. They all have their own subs. They all know each other. It's an incestuous world. But SCT Building Systems will help you navigate those design waters as you build your next home, building, barn dominium, storage shed.
He shed, she shed.
Yeah, I can't say that very well.
You got to pause a little bit. Otherwise, it becomes
The
a bit of a
she
tongue twister.
shed. Yeah.
564-8864 is the number for SCT Building Systems.
Clayton's cell number. Call him. In fact, just call him and say, hey, Wade and Carter told me to call you, and then hang up. I'd like that. That would help us, to be honest. I would love for him to go, wow, I get feedback from my ad with y'all. We're going to continue to advertise with y'all. Just call him.
Atsanoffer.com. You can log on. You don't even have to pick up the phone.
They don't need you to call them. They've been here since 1926, and they ain't going nowhere.
Nope. And you don't have to go anywhere. You can buy a car from the comfort of your living room
In your new Chestnut recliner.
these days.
In your new house built by SCT. Yeah, you can go to atsanoffer.com. You can do everything now, folks. It's crazy. You can search their exact inventory. It's updated daily. You can find the vehicle you want. You can shoot them a note. You can chat with a salesperson on the internet.
They'll give you internet-only pricing as well.
And say, hey, would you take this for it? If they say yes, there's a place for a credit app. You can do the whole deal and say, look, just leave the keys in it. Go pick it up and leave, and you're brand new. Chevy, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi. They'll do the same thing on all their used vehicles.
Iceman says, who the heck doesn't test drive a car? I can tell you who doesn't test drive a car. People who are brand loyal to Chevrolet, Cadillac, Mitsubishi, or Mazda.
Oh, yeah. No, lots of people don't test drive a car. That's a crazy thing. My daughter sells cars in Houston, and she's delivered numerous vehicles to people that never drove them. She's delivered pre-owned vehicles to people that never drove them. They just know what they want. And with a warranty and a continuous program like Atsanoffer offers, you don't have to worry about it. Something's wrong, they'll fix it.
Yep. No, they'll get it done.
There's Wendell Geigel.
World's greatest neighbor.
Well, your version, and he's in the county, in the city. I saw Tom Ennis the other day.
Did he good?
Yeah, he's doing
How's
well.
he doing?
He didn't. He didn't have any complaints.
This must really be putting a crimp on his travel because he loves to travel the
He
world.
travels all over. He and Grace get in the usually, I think, on a cruise ship and go places. And I think, the cruise industry is going to suffer. And the cruise industry is one of those things I don't think the government should bail out. I don't. The airline industry, critical to business travel.
Most of the cruises aren't here. I tell you what, if you like to buy stocks, some of those cruise companies might be the place.
Great time to do it.
Yeah, they might not be any lower than they are now.
This is neither an offer to sell or a solicitation.
I did not name a company.
So, Mr. Apocalypse.
A lot of dividend stocks right now that are at great bargains. I just don't have any money.
Right. Isn't it funny?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've asked my dad that before. Why didn't you buy that land back in the 60s when it was only like $18 an acre? Didn't have any money.
I asked my dad that question one time when I knew what he bought for the Plymouth Fury back in '64, when he could have had a original AC Cobra for about the same price.
Oh, Dad. Couldn't get you and your mom and all the kids in there.
That's what he said. He goes, where was I going to put you and your twin brother in that two-seater?
No kidding.
Fair enough. Good question.
Could have put Corky in the trunk.
I could have.
The boot.
Both of us would have fit in the trunk.
I saw something yesterday. I was pulling through, and by the way, for so many of you that have asked, and I would be remiss if I didn't say, Dad's doing well. He ate 4 meals yesterday. Really, he did. Rylan insisted on taking him a piece of toast with some strawberry cream cheese on it, which Granddad was like, oh, no, I couldn't possibly. It was gone,
Yeah.
And he's doing fine. He's probably listening.
He's got his appetite back. That's a good sign.
Yeah, and I was at HEB to pick up a prescription for him. And I said, that's what I've been needing. Because, I've told you that there's just days that here you need a truck. Now, I don't drive a truck. I've driven trucks for years, which is why I don't drive a truck now. I've just switched to cars because I'm getting a little older. But I drove
You
up.
like the soft ride of that
Dude had
Sedan DeVille.
on the back. Wow. On the back windshield was a dealer tag. I pulled up and visited with the guy for a second. I said, hey, is that truck for sale or did you just buy it? Both. He said, I just bought her. Runs good, but I'm ready to get rid of it. I said, really, it's that good, huh? You're liking it that much? No, it's just I bought it. I like to buy and flip them because I'm a trucker, and we visited for a minute. It was a white, predominantly white and rust, 1964, had the long, flat hood. It wasn't the cool looking like the bubble hood with the round fenders. It's the long, flat one. Looks like it has 2 intakes on the front. 1964 Chevy C10 pickup.
Nice.
350, 3-speed on the floor.
Step side box or the
step side, and had the
I know
spare
the
on the
one.
side, the rolled edge on the bed, you know. He said, I got 1,600 in her. I'm asking $2,000. I said, well, he goes, honest guy. I said, how about 1,600 in a 6-pack? Well, that would let me make something. I mean, literally, that's how the conversation went. It's running.
You got yourself a new truck?
No, it's running. It's in the line at HEB. I'm like, this guy's got enough confidence to come get his pills with it. Dawn said I couldn't have it. $1,600.
That's a pretty good deal.
Come on.
The body style on those are nice. I like them.
$100 tax with Aunt Rena. I mean, come on.
Should have done it.
I said, what is it predominantly? He goes, metal and Bondo. I go, it's perfect. Because then you just throw stuff in. You never wash that truck.
You have somebody good who can weld, you can fix those Bondo spots.
Yeah, it's got a 3-speed on the floor.
Iceman asked if he got his number. He's interested.
You don't need brakes. Yeah, I got his number, Ice. I got his number, babe. But if I turn you on to this guy, get you a deal on it, you got to let me borrow it once in a while. Dawn goes, where are you going to keep it? I go, Allen's Record Service. That's where I would keep it. It'd be there half the time one way or the other. Either towed in or drove in. So that's my thought. I wanted it. Pull up and put some mulch in there. Where? Just in the bed.
Don't matter.
Go home, blow it out.
Yep.
I think it'd be great. A man needs a truck. You know, Brother G out there sporting some blue today.
Blue Thursday.
He looks sharp.
He's using all the shirts.
Yeah, he's using them all.
Look at the brother man in. So
Let's
Mr.
take our
Apocalypse.
last break.
Take our
Before
last
you
break?
do Mr. Apocalypse, because I want you to have time to do your entire negativity.
yeah, okay.
Because bring us all down right here before Good Friday.
well, then we'll bring the brother man in. He can lift us all back up.
So we got our buddy John Paul Hull over at Razor IT Solutions. And like he said the other day, if you're a local restaurant and you need to invest a minimal amount in a way to collect funds online where people can prepay for your curbside food, there you have it, Razor IT Solutions. If you need to understand what part of town or where people are that are viewing your website, Razor IT Solutions. People that help you understand what's going on the internet and with your Facebook presence and your brand promotion, that's Razor IT
You
Solutions.
could do some geofencing for your business.
See, you lost me right there, but you didn't lose John Paul. He knows. Mr. Apocalypse. White Trash Services, 550-1826. Our friend and the boss, BJ Nelson. If she has to defer it off,
Part-time
sometime
producer.
she'll put it off to Scott Nelson. That's her
Or
swapper.
the roll-off queen. Give the roll-off queen a call today.
Oh,
if
that's
you
a
want
cousin.
15-foot roll-off, 15 cubic foot roll-off to
And a
handle
free
all your-
pin.
all
A
your-
free pin with every delivery.
all your cleanup, chores, and duties. They'll get it done for you. Great deals on those roll-offs. They've got a bunch of new dumpsters in.
Watch
They can
this.
take care of all your trash needs.
This brand loyalty thing helps them. This is a fighting Texas Aggie business. How about that?
There you go.
Locally owned, locally operated, fighting Texas Aggies.
550-1826.
Get in there and give them a call.
Speaking of giving them a call, Gray Barn Design. My beautiful wife Cheryl has a event design business, and absolutely unbiased opinion here.
She's got time, folks.
She's good at what she does.
Anything she does.
Yeah. And
Brother Gary jumping the gun there.
And give her a call, 920-6803. You can have her help design any event that you've got coming up.
Right.
Once we're actually allowed to do events again. But she'll help you.
There you go. She'll be doing great work. So that wraps up. Now, it's just about 3/4 after the hour. And I just want to turn, you go ahead. I'll try to make chicken salad out of Mr. Apocalypse.
Well, no, it's not.
You had some things, what if this happens?
Well,
Come on, Eeyore,
you know,
share.
I find it interesting that, you know, and it seems to be somewhat left-driven, the mainstream media, but this whole hydroxychloroquine flap crap, you could call it, for years, the left and the mainstream media have got, if it saves just one life,
Right.
we've got to do it.
Right. No, that's
Right?
true. That is true. That's not even apocalyptic.
No.
Unless it's abortion.
If it saves just one life, we have to get behind this and do it. And they're doing a 180 and running the other way from hydroxychloroquine. Well, it's only anecdotal evidence.
Because it doesn't get the federal government any, like, attaboys. Because in the Democrats' mind, they want, even if it's Donald Trump, they want the government to solve this problem. Italy just wrote it out. China just wrote it out. But we're the United States and we solve the problem. That's what they want. They want to add to the mystique and the lie that we need the government. That's what they want to do.
But you've got something that has proven anecdotally to have helped some people. Why wouldn't you want to give it a shot? It's been around for 70 years, since the 1940s. Some people have adverse side effects to it. What they're finding out
They have
more
adverse
so,
side effects to aspirin and penicillin too,
Well,
but that didn't make them
and
go
really
away.
what they're finding is, as more of these anecdotal stories come out, is the side effects are actually more to the azithromycin that they're prescribing, and not the hydroxychloroquine.
So why not hydroxychloroquine and
But
amoxicillin?
Doc, I mean, and don't get me wrong, people shouldn't just be, if you got this sitting there, don't be drinking the fish tank cleaner,
Right.
you know?
Tide Pod and a Z-Pack.
Yeah. Which I'll get to the fish tank cleaning people in a second here, because it's interesting how some stuff came out.
Mr.
on that.
Apocalypse.
No, it's not at all. But the doctors are going to prescribe it. At some point, they prescribed this anti-malarial drug for lupus, because all of a sudden they found out, oops, it might work on lupus. They
And I'm
prescribed
sure
it
some lupus sufferers had some adverse side effects at some point. Nobody screamed about that.
They prescribe it, I'm finding out, for rheumatoid arthritis. As we learn more about that it's actually a virus, and so it's an antiviral. They've tried it there.
So if you're
At
willing to
some
try it
point-
for things that aren't deadly,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you try for something that is deadly?
Well, if it saves just one life.
Mr. Apocalypse.
No,
These
and
are the same
yeah.
people that are clamoring to keep the abortion clinics open and the government pay for this in their stimulus program.
Yeah, the same people that have had absolutely no call to the Kennedy Center for why they got $25 million and then laid off all their employees.
But they want to make sure that you don't take hydroxychloroquine because it might kill you.
Because the government hasn't had a chance to get people rich off the tests and
Isn't
studies
that
on this.
something?
That's probably what it is. But
Now, I don't fault
You
the
know.
doctors for doing I really don't fault the doctors for saying this is not a panacea. You've got to be careful.
no, and it's
you know.
not the cure, because if it was, everybody would be taking it and we'd be past this thing already. But
Right.
if it works for some people, and there's really no harm in trying it for the most part.
Well, let me ask you this. If you
I mean,
develop,
the other option is death, right?
So
Or
if you
trying
develop
hydroxychloroquine.
which would you do? Now, I'm not going to try that because it hasn't been through a clinical trial yet. 78 out of 80 in France were symptom-free in 5 days. I'm taking that combo.
A few hundred in New York out of a doctor who's prescribed it to, I think, like 300 some odd people in New York, with absolutely no one that he gave it to died.
Yeah, the one
You know,
negative.
Statistically, that's almost impossible that it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, BJ's asking if you think this thing was, like genetically engineered.
Yeah, you know, I don't. We don't know enough about it yet. It's interesting though. We know enough about it to know it just came from a bat that was sold at a market. I mean, come on, really?
Do we know that?
Well, that's what they say. I don't know, or something like that.
Or do
But I
we
don't
think
know.
that maybe a crop duster flew across that market and just infected those people?
Yeah, we don't know enough there.
I think that what we ought to do, and I'm not calling for this yet because I may need a TV, but I'm going to tell you, I think we're getting to the point in this country where we say we're going to buy American to the point that we just don't buy anything from China. I can't imagine what China would do tomorrow. They say, well, China carries so much of our debt. So we just printed $10 trillion for nothing because it's not real.
Exactly.
The money's not real, people. What if we just turned around and said, that's it? I'm not buying anything else that comes from China. I'm sending them a message about controlling their mess, lying to the World Health Organization, and not telling us about this when they first found out about it.
Let's not give the World Health Organization a free pass. They've been in bed with China for a long time.
Well, there you go. I mean, what if we just
The
said,
rest of the world was questioning China and the information coming out of it, and in mid-January they were saying, "Yeah, there's no human-to-human transmission." What? 80 million people in China were just eating out of the same vat? The vat
was a
of
big
bats?
vat.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
you got to wonder, though, what would happen if we just as a country said, you know what, we're going to start making TV. Where's Curtis Mathis? Where's Zenith? We're going to start making
RCA?
TVs back here in the U.S. I think we have the technology. Here's an idea. Why don't
Well-
we take apart one of their TVs and figure out how they did it and make our own TVs?
That would be unethical. We don't do that here.
Right.
Yeah. Well, no, I think you're going to see a lot of stuff come back to, and not just the U.S.
Hopefully medicine comes back.
I think Canada's going to have to do this. I think European countries are going to have to do this. I think you're going to see things go back to the countries that are important to the survival of the nations. And then I still think you're going to see things that are what we used to consider the luxury items. You know, I remember when a 32-inch TV cost you almost $2,000.
Right. They're going to be expensive again.
And it was heavy. No, I think these things will still be built elsewhere, but I think they'll be built in India. I think our time with China
Yes.
is done.
Did
I
we
think-
talk about that 4 or 5 months ago?
Yeah, a little bit.
We did.
But getting back to the fish tank cleaner people, because remember when that story broke? These were hardcore Trumpers.
Right.
The never Trumpers who believed Donald Trump that he said, take hydroxychloroquine, it'll save you.
They were drinking chlorine.
Yeah. Well, it turns out that no, they weren't hardcore Trumpers. I shared a piece that about a week ago, but apparently they are absolute hardcore Democrats.
Really?
Yes. Their political donations went to the Democrats. Might have been some questions as to, here, honey, I already took mine, you take yours.
Oh, little, what was his name? Jim
Jones?
Jim Jones, little Guyana punch.
Yeah. This may not have been actually trying to cure the
Little
or
COVID cocktail.
prevent the COVID, but maybe an opportunity to get rid of the husband that she apparently had filed for divorce
So
from.
like there's 2 shot glasses. His is water. Hers is actually
No, hers is water. His is the COVID, is the fish tank cleaner.
nice.
Yeah, apparently she had already filed for divorce from him a few years back, and they somehow reconciled.
He probably had it coming.
Yeah, but that sort of just was.
You know how
that
men are.
That was all just but the whole
He had it coming.
hardcore Trumpers never going to vote for Trump again because we listened to him was just manufactured by
Look,
the mainstream
if
media.
Justin Swatowski takes that much time with those fingers to type, I'm going to read it. A lot of things floating the web to support it was lab made, basically a bioweapon to crash the markets and boost China. Funny how some of the largest populated cities in China had no cases, or at least it wasn't advertised.
Well, that goes back
I
to not
agree.
trusting the numbers out of China, but you can't tell me that somehow this thing magically didn't wreak havoc in Beijing.
By the way, the next comment is from Lisa Poole. She says, agree, made in the USA, which is, she's talking about another point altogether, but it looks like Jay Swatowski says, hey, it was made in a lab. Yes, in the USA.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, no correlation between the top
But
fan
you know,
and Lisa Poole.
and Brother Gary's here, he will recall when Trump made that visit to India back before Thanksgiving. He went on and on about the Indian people, and U.S. media was forced to show all of the Indian children and all. Yes, it was all staged and it was all promoted by the government, but they all were waving U.S. flags and all that all down the streets in India, which all it told me was the Indian government was very pro-Trump, or they wouldn't have taken the time to give all those people flags. The Americans didn't give them the flags, the Indians did. And then Donald Trump said, so glad to be here in the second most populated country in the world. Went on and on about we're going to do terrific things
It's
together.
debatable. The
It's
medal
going to be
count there.
super, 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 super. Melania wants us to redecorate the Taj Mahal. We're going to do it for free. It's going to be terrific.
Wait till you see it at
Wi-Fi.
Christmas.
It's going to have it all. So listen, Trump was sending a message to the Chinese at that time. We can move all the Sony stuff over here. There is no Sony without the United States. They're not selling enough TVs in China. You think there's a 72-inch TV in China? Not unless you're in the government.
Can't fit in the house.
So here's the deal. Trump sent a message to India. Hey, we will move our manufacturing to you in a heartbeat. Did you see just last week, Trump told India, unless you find a way to send us some hydroxychloroquine, you're going to have some serious issues with our economy going forward. It was on the news. The mainstream media could not avoid it. He's using future wealth for leverage now. You know what India said in a prepared statement the next day? We've reviewed our stockpiles and believe that we have enough for our people. We're now going to send some to the U.S. India's not stupid. And China is on the way out. And where I'm going with that is, you remember what happened the last time an Asian country got really desperate? Torah. Get mentally prepared for China to not be happy when American businesses start pulling out.
Well, and it was not just American businesses.
Global
from all over the
businesses.
world.
Because cheap labor is the key. So you go to India and you still have cheap labor.
Let's bring the brother man in.
Brother man's out there talking to his bro man. Brother, we need you. We're through. I do want you to think about that, folks, because it's not a guess. It's right. That's what's going to happen. India, China, going to get sideways with us.
How
Watch
are
it.
you, brother?
I'm doing good, boys. Good to be with you. Hey,
Did you watch that Astros game last night, brother man?
I wanted to, man.
Right.
'Cause I got some good baseball stuff. But
Tell
let
us.
me give two quick ones for what we normally do. Events would be the blood drive was a huge success earlier this week, Monday and Tuesday, at Faith Family Church. Talked to the ladies that were in charge, and they said fantastic. They want to thank all of those that put it out there. So thank you guys.
Yes,
that's
thank
from
you.
them to y'all.
Proud to
right
do
there.
it.
Houston
Don
Bunch is
Nicole,
here.
T-Lat said, good morning, brother.
I love Don Nicole. Now I wanted to tell you both about
H.R.
your girls.
Mallory
Yeah.
says, good morning, brother. We could just spend here all night, all day talking. Good mornings.
And talking about
missed
your
the brother.
wives, both of you, lucky.
Morning,
both of
Lisa.
y'all.
No doubt.
Patrick, checking
You know what it
in.
is? They miss the brother. People miss the brother because
I miss them.
they don't get enough brother sightings these days.
I
Cody,
miss
Cody
them.
Sugar said this is the first off season for the brother man in
Yeah.
30 some odd years.
I don't like it. Cody,
No.
I don't like it. Last time I saw him, we were on the golf course at the country club
Right.
before all this happened, man. But anyway, they thanked you. The blood drive.
You had your knickers on that day, right?
yeah,
Plus
yeah, I went out
fours.
there.
Plus fours.
A little lighter tie. But
Cardigan. Looking like Bobby Jones.
yeah.
Won't you be my
Oh,
neighbor?
I want golf. I want it all back. But, yeah, the blood drive, they said they still need blood. South Texas Blood and Tissue Center says, please call. This is just a little bit. We need a lot more. And want to mention our Adopt a Pet. They thank y'all for putting it out there. Some of the listeners. Some of the
I
people
give
over
Ash
there
all the
listening.
credit for that. Ash turned me on to the little guys.
I'm with the little guys.
I know you
all
are.
three of us.
Always have been.
So they are still open Monday through Saturday. Curb service, veterinarians there Tuesday, Thursday, 10 to 2.
I know we got a few boxer fans that are listening. There's an adult boxer whose owner surrendered at Animal Control. I think they've lowered the adoption fee to just $30. They want this.
Oh.
They want this beautiful boxer out of there.
How old a dog is it?
Older. I don't know the age.
That's an awesome pet.
it
$30.
And at this stage, going to be
Beautiful.
through the boxer issues. Does have heartworms, but Adopt a Pet offers great prices.
Yes, they do.
On
that's
heartworm
great.
medication. So
No, that's a great pickup for somebody. If you've got some room, if you've got a couple of acres where this dog can roam and
actually,
enjoy.
I think this dog is elderly, so to a point where it probably ain't going to be happy roaming. It'll be happy just being
In the
with
house.
Laying on your sofa?
I held one of those the other day when I was there a couple of weeks ago. Beautiful, and I think that might be the one. But I want to say hello to everybody out there, and I appreciate all of you because I can't wait to get back with all of y'all out there, and that's for sure.
It's shaping up where Boot Fest 20 is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, that's
It
first
is.
thing.
It's gonna be a
you
big
know,
deal.
whenever it starts coming around. But got a little baseball for you. Got a little baseball, a little football. All right, you got World Series on there. You got Houston, right? Ash, listen in, boys. World Series 2020 odds to win it if we ever start playing. To win it, Astros number one, 5-1 odds. They're the favorites to win the World Series, not
There
just to
you
get
go.
there, to win.
Kiss of death.
Second, tied for second, Dodgers and Yankees, of course, 6-1.
Sure.
You go all the way down. It's Atlanta 4, Boston 5. Washington Nationals, they ended up 6th with the best chance to win the
Well, you
World
know,
Series.
everybody,
6th.
they lost a lot of players to free
14
agency.
they're 14-1.
You know, Juan Soto's still 21. He won't turn 22 until a little bit later.
No.
Can you believe that kid's 21?
He was
21.
good.
Where's
forever.
Joe Buck? We
He
need to
killed
get Joe
us.
Buck on there. 21 forever.
He killed us. And our Amy Monday listening in, we did her father's birthday. I did a call in last Sunday. I want to
Yeah, we wished him a happy birthday the other day.
Right.
You know,
and she
G,
helped me with my deal for the Crossroads today. So
you
thank
remember
you, Amy.
back when the Superstation first came along.
WGN?
And Gaylord
Yeah.
Perry was still pitching for the Braves.
Oh, man.
And the Atlanta
Do I remember?
Braves had literally stunk.
Oh, no, that was TBS, not WGN was the Cubs.
That's Chicago.
WGBN
Yeah,
is
WTBS was the worldwide Turner.
yeah, they did Cubs.
But the Braves had literally stunk
Yeah, they
since
did for years.
Henry Aaron had retired. Let me
Sure.
tell you teams that when I was a kid,
If Dale
that-
Murphy would have been on any other team, he might have won some World Series.
unbelievable.
And he was great.
Andy Van Slyke with
Great.
the Pirates too. So
He's great.
let me throw this at you. I'll give you franchises of my youth that there's no other way to say it. They sucked. They were on everybody's homecoming list. New England Patriots, San Francisco 49ers. Now they've gone back. They had that blip with the
Not anymore.
Montana Steve Young,
Anymore.
but they're back.
Right, they
to
were
being
bad. They were
mediocre.
bad for a while.
The
sure.
Patriots were the Cleveland Browns of
Correct.
football.
That's-
The Astros were terrible until the 80s. But all the time that I was a kid, even when
remember.
they had Cedeno and Watson, they
You're
sucked.
still young, but you're old enough to remember.
Yeah, they were terrible. And then you look at teams like
79 was when they finally sort of turned the corner.
Yeah.
little Nolan Ryan started
Little
helping
Nolan
them out.
Ryan right there.
But you look back, and and the Astros now being favored to win the World Series doesn't even accelerate my heart rate. I expect it.
Yeah,
they
and I
need to
do too.
win. They need to
5
win.
1, boys.
Sure.
How about that? And sticking with baseball, I wanted to get this in him. You know, with all this pandemic and all that stuff, people trying to sell things, get rid of things, fire sale. Lou Gehrig's bat. Did you hear the one he used in 1922? Guy said, I'm going to sell my 1922 bat. They use this as a model to make future bats. Well, he was great.
Wow.
Gehrig, you know, Cal Ripken beat the Iron Man.
Today,
Yeah.
I consider myself
Oh, he's good, though. You know how much they sold that 1922 bat for, boys?
$4 million.
Over $1 million for that one bat. One
Wow.
bat, over $1 million. Lou Gehrig's bat.
So now, if you bought that bat, would you have to take a swing with it? Would you have
Oh,
to
man, I'd have to take a swing. I wouldn't be around
little
anybody.
something, right?
I don't know what you'd hit with it in case it
You'd nothing. You put it.
shatter. Water balloon.
But if you ever needed collateral, you got it.
Right, you got it.
You got collateral.
Well, you're
That's
hoping
awesome.
the market for Lou Gehrig bats goes up.
Right. It ain't going to go down much, I wouldn't think. That's probably valuable.
Isn't that wonderful? Maybe one football. I got more. We'll save it for next time. But John Sharp, Chancellor of Texas A&M.
Whoop!
All right, yeah. He thinks still that we have a season. They could even start as late as into October.
Oh, well, the
and still
Aggies-
have a full season. If we even started even sometime in October.
Here's
Thinks
the
there's gonna be a
problem
full
for the
season.
Aggies. If they start chipping away the Lamars, the Abilene Christians, pretty soon they get down to where all they have left is Alabama, LSU, and
Got
Auburn.
Aggie listeners here, buddy. Watch
Well,
out.
that's what they get down to. All they've
Watch
got
out
left is
now.
Alabama, LSU, and Auburn. And then they're
You
going
got
to say, well, we could have won it all if we would have just had a full season. That was the year, baby.
And I'll give you one more. College spring football. This is what they're talking about now, too. This came out. There's some people, head college folks, that are saying if we could have college spring football, if we can't get it during the fall, we better have it in the fall. But if we can't, they said we could practice in December and January. Get this, digest this, boys,
XFL.
and play February, March, April, May with the bowls and championship series at the end of May and early June.
Yeah, there's all sorts of.
That's what that was just a
all sorts
little
of
bit.
discussions going
Yep.
on about how the college athletic season is going to be saved, and it could be truncated into the spring for
Yep.
all sports.
That's what they're saying.
It'll just be sports overload.
Conference schedules only in every sport, so you're not playing non-conference games to try to get it all in. The logistics would have to be worked out
Yes, sir.
because sports information departments.
Why you have ADs?
What do you think, AD?
I
We'd be against it, right?
no, I wouldn't
But
be
if you-
against it. It'd be,
But you'd
but
want-
but logistically, it would be
It'd be
very
tough.
hard to pull off.
But you'd still want to do it, though, wouldn't you? If that's all we could get.
Well, I don't know how else how are you going to tell kids to not or to sit around for a
right.
year?
You
because
probably
they're
need a
not-
raise after
your,
working
your
that hard.
season's not going to happen.
And
right?
football
That'd be hard to do.
is what? Football.
Football
We
is
need it.
king.
Football is football. It's king.
Every sport
I
needs
see what
football.
you're saying, though.
Every other sport at the school needs football.
I mean-
Every one of them. That's what they're saying.
And D1 athletics, there's so much money involved. They can't take a year off. It would be the end of Division I college athletics.
There you go.
Dun,
That's-
dun,
I
dun.
say
Mr.
that too.
Apocalypse.
I'm with that. Well,
Mr. Apocalypse comes in
look,
with,
World Series boy, he may be right though.
that was a prophetic comment. If they had to take a year off, it'd be the end of college athletics.
As we know.
It would all be over, Ralph.
I look at
Ralph just looked up and said, that
Ralph
boy
said,
done lost his mind. That boy lost his mind in there.
And we're going to do the same thing we did yesterday, the day before, today,
Right. Hey,
tomorrow.
Gary, it would be, well, hopefully the University of Texas, they're going to start a little club team, and hopefully they can scrimmage some of the other folks around there, Texas State, maybe Texas Lutheran,
Yeah.
and we'll see if it grows.
What an imbecile.
I
And
think
what
if
a
you put
note
a
from the
football
room.
game and brought Texas State in, they still fill up.
Mr. Apocalypse.
Wide world of
It's
sports
still
is going
crazy.
on here.
It's over, people. College. You heard it here first on Wade and Carter. India will be making televisions, and college athletics as we know it is over forever.
Scary.
Speaking of which, this show is over.
Right. We love you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Hey,
We'll see you Monday, Easter
Happy
Monday.
Easter,
happy
everybody.
Easter, folks.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Take care of yourselves.
Bye.
Mr. Apocalypse.
Programming and KHMC Magic 95 assumes no responsibility for its content, and the Wade and Carter Show bears all responsibilities